Hey cousins, welcome to Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas.
Cousins, welcome to this episode of Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas. I'm your host, Cornell Wright, the People's Lobbyist. Let's have a quick one and let's talk about the American Families Plan. Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas is intended for the participation of responsible adults of legal drinking age who wish to engage in substantive virtual discussions and social drinking for entertainment purposes only. Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas does not advocate the abuse of alcoholic beverages. Choosing to participate in any of the drinking activities shared in the program should be made with moderation and caution and is the sole responsibility of the user. Now, cousin, the American Families Plan is a plan that's now being part of an overall bill going into Congress. One of the things we have to pay more attention to, I'm suggesting that we all start to do this, is to get more involved in the politics. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's grimy, sometimes it's not fun at all. We all have something else to do, and I'm asking you to add that to your agenda. Yes, I am. And the reason why I'm asking you to do that is because it's important for us, if we are the people, as we have pronounced in this program many times before, we are the people as identified by the Constitution. We, the people, then have to be involved with what our legislators do on our behalf. I would contend, cousins, there's been a whole bunch of bad ideas brought forth by various legislatures on the local level, the state level, and the federal level that has not served the will or the needs of the people. So I'm imploring you, I'm asking, do that. It's a good idea, cousins, to start getting more involved in your political system. And the American Families Plan is one of the things I want to ask you to take a closer look at. So, cousins, in full disclosure, I have been an adjunct faculty member of a community college for over 20 years. I can't tell you how enriching it has been to be a part of the educational DNA of a number of students that have gone through my classes. The community colleges represent a significant role in the educational bandwidth of our country. And just to let me read to you from a California Community College declaration on their website, it says, community colleges offer associate's degrees, prepare students to transfer to four-year institutions, provide opportunities for lifelong learning, and train the workforce that sustains California's economy. Now, cousins, you could take that same phraseology, strike out California, and put your state in there, and that's still true. I can't tell you all the stories I've had during a number of my years working and being an adjunct professor in a business department at a local community college. It was rewarding, it was significant, and it was great for me intrinsically. Now, to be honest with you, it wasn't like it was a whole bunch of money, because community college professors don't make a lot of money, but the work they do is significant. Having said that, as just for positional, let me tell you my full-throated support for the America's Family Plan as it relates to the community college provision. What they're actually talking about in there is giving a 2-year free tuition to every student in the United States who wants to get there. Cousins, come on. Because first of all, we know that at this point in time, a college degree, a high school degree, is not enough. There are very few jobs that you can get that provide you with a career, or more importantly, allows you to be able to move beyond minimum wage capabilities in the United States currently, that you only need a high school degree. Now, there's always the exception of the person who has the high school degree, and because of their determination, their will, their intellect, their drive, that they go on to wonderful things. God bless all those people, and they still exist. However, that's not the majority. You with me, cousins? Those are exceptions, and they are exceptional people. What I'm talking about, and what I believe this plan is going to be talking about, is addressing the key elements of the community college education. Here's a story, cousins. In Germany, to my understanding, it still is, after you finish a very rigorous high school, they have a trades level in which people go and get certain trades in order to become very capable and very efficient in and proficient in various trade activities. I don't know how many of you have been in a manufacturing facility recently, but a lot of times in a basic manufacturing facility, having a high school degree doesn't give you enough capability to run and operate the machines. Germany is one of the countries that delivers and produces high quality manufacturing equipment. Okay? Here's a story. They had to dummy down the capabilities or disengage some of the capabilities of a few years back of sending their equipment to the United States. Why? Because the workers here weren't capable of handling and managing the equipment, cousins. They didn't have the expertise. They didn't have the knowledge. Where do you go to get that? In my community college, we had a 2-year manufacturing associate's degree program in order to what? Help cousins get a chance to be able to operate those machines, not specifically because that was a few years ago, but you get the idea, to be able to handle the more complex manufacturing environments. It's no longer screwing tops on bottoms, cousins. A manufacturing environment, when there are positions available, because recognize the automation requires highly skilled and highly technical capabilities, computer training and knowledge. So cousins, if we're talking about having a 2-year degree, and let's go back again to the concept that was presented by the California website of not only the training, but then the preparation for those cousins to be able to move forward, why not do that? How is that not a good idea and a great investment in our most critical resource, which is what? Us. Right? So for all of you who are out there, many of you have had a chance, by the way, just for full total disclosure, I actually took a community college course when I was in enrolled in 4-year college. I had a little bit of a problem. The community college was there. I took a course on investments, and it didn't make me rich, but maybe I made a nickel or two to buy a decent bottle every now and then. All right? So I've been involved with community college from when I was a college student, and then now as a professor later on. What a transition. But it's not about me. The point is that the idea of supporting the community college students is fantastic. And by the way, one of the other elements of the program, or the bills, as I understand, is also to provide those same students with what? Assistance for things like textbooks. Cousins, in some institutions, the textbook for a class can cost almost as much as the class. You got me on that? The textbook, in order to use the class, can almost cost as much as the class. As I would encounter my students and they'd say, hey, I have a textbook I can get that's online or whatever, and it's one edition back or whatever, my response was, I'm going to teach from the current one that's in the syllabus, but if that one works for you, then I'm sure you're going to be okay. Cousins, the new bill helps to accommodate and cover for that. So what does that do? That makes sure the publishers are going to be okay. And by the way, cousins, you check me out in your state. In my state, the community college system is part of the state college system, i.e., and it has your tax dollars in it. So if we have a federal bill coming in that's going to help to cover the cost of students within your state, that's going to help your community college system and your entire education system, and therefore help each one of you. Cousins, I'm sorry, I can't see anything wrong with that. And on top of that, cousins, let's look at one of the real key elements, okay? Last month was Nurses Week. You can get an associate degree in nursing, and you can go out in 2 years, and you can go out and start being a nurse. Those people who were taking care of us, who I understand are now the most trusted profession out there, nurses. My mother was a nurse, so my heart is with you, of course. All right? But so think about this, cousins. And by the way, as a result of COVID and the post-traumatic stress disorders associated with a number of the healthcare professionals from dealing with all of the trauma associated with what we've been going through, we're going to need more nurses. So just as a sidebar aspect, you can start to have, based upon this plan being approved, people being able to complete a nursing education with an associate's degree. Now they can go on to get BS in nursing. They can start to get other advanced degrees in nursing, continue a professional career. That's fine, but they'd be able to start to treat us in whatever facilities necessary with an associate's degree. Cousins, that's a good idea. And more specifically, for those individuals, it's life-changing. Why? Because with your high school diploma and a 2-year associate's degree, you can start to work as a nurse and make what? A living wage. In order to be able to move from wherever you are to another level in our society on a socioeconomic level. That's nothing but good news, in my opinion. Tell me if that's a bad idea, cousins. Leave your comments at the bottom. But as I start to see, that component of it is fine. Now, as these bills start to work out, it adds other and there's more things to it. Have you heard anybody say this is not a good idea? Have you heard anybody say that, well, we can't afford it? Well, of course you can. All right? There's also a provision that's going to help what? Child care. Now, has anybody paid for child care recently in preschool for young students? We now know that preschool is almost a requirement for your young ones, little cousins, to be able to come into kindergarten with the right vocabulary in order to be able to what? Put them on a trajectory to be able to maintain the educational levels. We're not taking care of the babies, cousins. So if you can't do that because you don't have money, we can't start to project that in the future. We can't be stronger. Cousins, what's going to make us stronger? Continuing the way we are or giving preschool education and capabilities, which also, by the way, helps their parents to not carry the burden of that and will save them money? I don't know, cousins. You tell me what's wrong about that. Okay? And can we afford that? Well, gee, the question becomes, can we not afford that? All right? Like I said, I'm a proponent of community colleges. I love community colleges, and they're worth our investment on a federal basis with all of our tax dollars around the country. Why? Because it's going to help every one of us. Every single one of us, whether you participate or either you or your cousin or somebody goes to community college, or because it's going to help your state in regards to minimizing your taxes and helping to improve your workforce capabilities. And what, at the end, make us more competitively in the world so that Germany doesn't have to downgrade their equipment when they send us something to have us manufacture something. Cousins, come on. All right, so here's the bad idea. I need you to take 4 telephone numbers and put it in your cell phone. I need you to put your governor's telephone number in, your federal representative to your state, whoever's in your district, and the 2 senators. This is political action now, because this is what we do to try to make things happen. You call them or you text them and say, hey, I'm Cornell Wright, and I support this bill, and I want you to do it too. That's all you got to say. Okay? Now, so they may come back and they may get back to you, and you may see them on TV. They have a lot of reasons why. But at the end of the day, why don't they take care of this and take care of the cousins? You tell me, cousins, what's a better idea? If you have a better idea than this, then propose it. Saying no is not acceptable. Saying no is a bad idea, cousins. You with me? So, thank you for joining. Appreciate your time. Continue wearing your mask. Get that vaccination that's out there. And I hope to see you someday out and about, enjoying ourselves and enjoying this beautiful country we help to create and make. You take care of yourselves. The next episode of Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas.
We are